Southeast Kingdom podcast. I am your host, Lord Cicero the Great, Lord Paramount of the Southeast Kingdom. Yes, I know. It's been a long time since we've been here. But once again, the gates of the kingdom are open and we got things we need to talk about. So, what has the world by the balls right now is this movie called Sinners. And I went to see it. And I'm going to tell you, that movie is freaking awesome. I say it's a 100 out of 10. It's almost perfect. And you have a lot of people out here on social media and in the streets saying, oh, it was good, but it's not all that. I think these people don't understand how difficult it is to make a movie that's almost perfect. And then on the flip side of that, to make a horror movie that is almost perfect is mind blowing. It's truly mind blowing. You are more likely to see real footage of Bigfoot and the Chupacabra than you will seeing an almost perfect horror movie. So, yes, that movie's fucking good, and we're going to glaze the hell out of that movie. I'm talking about supreme glazing, fresh donuts out the oven, glaze that movie. And number one reason why we're glazing it is because it's original. It's an original piece of work. And Hollywood just doesn't give us original work anymore. Now, there are some people that will say that, oh, Sinners is they stole the plot from Dusk Till Dawn. Okay, I get it. There is some similarities there. Two brothers going down south to have a better life, and then they run into vampires and shits get sticky. All right, but I think we have to pay attention to some of the nuances there as well. In Dusk Till Dawn, those two brothers went south to start a better life. In Sinners, these two brothers return to the South because that's where they're from to have a better life. Not to mention in Dust Till Dawn, these two brothers kidnapped a family that would have survived and been fine if they didn't kidnap them. So there are nuances that we have to pay attention to, but that doesn't fit the narrative of a lot of people. So they don't want to talk about that part. Now, also, Hollywood continues to give us remakes of movies that we don't need. Like, there'll be a hit movie, great movie, and then, oh, let's remake it. Like, right now, they're trying. Bodyguard was great. Whitney Houston, Kevin Costner, awesome freaking movie. And now y'all want to remake it? And then you want Taylor Swift as the role that Whitney Houston played? She don't even have the voice strength for that. If you're gonna pick a Caucasian actor to play Whitney Houston's role from Bodyguard, in my opinion, it has to be Christina Aguilera because she got the voice. She got the strong voice. Either her or Adele. That's just my opinion. But stop making these remakes of movies, especially the remakes or sequels that are 15 to 20 years too late. We did not need a sequel of Coming to America. I watched it. I kind of liked it a little bit, but it was trash. Let's keep it a buck. And then they give us these lackluster movies, especially these lackluster scary movies that are a waste of time. And then some of these movies, when they get the original first movie, it's really good. And then they kill it by trying to turn it into a franchise, like Insidious and The Conjuring, which the first couple of movies, great, great. But then you tried to create a universe, and now it's just, I want to know, not all horror franchises are bad. I grew up with Jason, Freddy, Michael Myers, and Chucky, the hard hitters of horror. But as time went by, even their movies got terrible. Everything after Jason X, they could have kept. Everything after Freddy's Dead, they could have kept. Everything from Bride of Chucky forward, they could have kept. We didn't need it. Those franchises were perfect the way they were. Okay? Even, I'm so glad they quit making the paranormal activity movies. Because the first three, good. But that last one, the marked ones, they could have kept it. Could have kept it. It wasn't necessary. It did tie things together a little bit, but they still could have kept it. That's all I'm saying. So when we get a movie like Sinners that's original, we're gonna get excited about it. Just deal with that. Also, something else that Hollywood continues to give us: superhero movies. And I love a good superhero movie. Marvel, DC, don't matter. I'm there for it. But I have to admit there is an oversaturation of superhero movies in the market. And 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 I understand it because superhero movies are cash cows. You give us a good superhero that everybody likes, even the casual fans, people are going to show up to see it. They're going to show up. That's just the given. It is a cash cow. The MCU alone, off ticket sales, just ticket sales, has made billions of dollars. And that's not counting merchandise and all the other things they do to make money. Just ticket sales have made billions of dollars. So I understand why they keep cranking out superhero movies because they know we're going to show up. But like I said, when you get an original story like Sinners and it's really good, the glazing will commence. Now, there are some people on social media. I saw one guy on TikTok who had an issue saying, "Oh, where's the Latino representation? Ryan Coogler, why weren't there any Latinos in Sinners?" Dude, shut the fuck up. Kindly, please. Don't come for Ryan Coogler like he doesn't have Latinos in his movie. He literally gave the Latino community an entire underwater civilization in Wakanda forever. Okay? Gave them a leader, their whole thing. Even gave them vibranium. But now you're going to come for him because there was no Latino representation in Sinners? Let's remember one thing. This is a horror movie. Number two, it's also a period piece. Okay? 1932, Mississippi. And I'm not saying there weren't any Latinos in 1932 Mississippi, but I am saying they wasn't making no noise. That's all I'm gonna say about that. All right. So Ryan Coogler, once again, this man continues to shine as one of the best young directors, producers in Hollywood. The man don't miss. Fruitvale Station, the Creed series, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and now Sinners. He don't miss. Even in the heat of battle, he don't miss. And once again, this man has created a movie. He's assembled a cast that's almost perfect. I mean, every actor that is in this movie feels like they were doing it for the gram. They were doing it. They were doing the damn thing. Every actor brought their best work. Clearly the rent was due for everybody. Okay? The rent was due. And the cast, they played so well off of each other that it's hard to not see this movie winning some sort of award. Now, I'm pretty sure it's not going to win any Oscars because I ain't going to go into that. But they ain't winning no Oscars, but they better win some awards for this movie. Michael B. Jordan played the hell out of his role. Matter of fact, he played two roles. And I love the fact that they kept the hip out of the trailers. Like when we watched the trailers for Sinners, we knew he had a brother, but we didn't know he had a twin brother. Or maybe I didn't know because I didn't do a lot of digging into this movie. Because a lot of times when it comes to movies, I don't want to dig deep into it. I want to go into the movie fresh with not having a real thought process or any preconceived ideas about what the movie will be. So I don't do a lot of deep dive. So I didn't know he was going to play two roles. So it was very shocking to me when the movie starts and I see him on the screen, Smoke and Stack. I literally thought, is that like a shoulder type thing? Is that a real person standing beside him? And it was a real deal. So I love that they kept that out of the trailers because a lot of times the trailers give us too much in the movies these days. I love the fact that Smoke and Stack, they were twins, but like any set of twins, they were very similar, but very different. Smoke is the pragmatic and calculating twin, while Stack is the more personable and charming twin. And you begin how they operate when they are split. At that point, was they were, they decide, hey, Smoke took the truck to go over here, and then Stack took the car to go do this over here. It's that what they went to do played into their personalities. Smoke went into town to secure business alliances for the juke joint. He went to see Grace and Bo to cut a deal with them. Why? He couldn't send Stack to do that. Grace and Bo are not going to be moved by charm and personality. They're going to be moved by the same thing that moves Smoke, the dollar bill. That if you notice, when he's talking to Bo, the whole time he's talking, he's thumbing through the cash because he knows that's what's going to get Bo's attention. That's what's going to get Bo to help him. Even when Grace comes in, he's cutting the deal with Grace. He got the dollars out, and this is what I'm gonna pay, and they make the deal. But Stacks goes because his personality is more personable and charming. He goes to talk to Delta Slim because they know Delta Slim money really ain't his motivation. You can't tell Delta Slim, hey, I'm gonna pay you this much right here, and he did. He told Delta Slim, I'm gonna pay you this much, but Delta Slim didn't give a damn about that. He didn't give a damn about the money. He didn't care. He wanted that alcohol. And he said, well, look, well, here's this beer. Taste this. And when Dr. Slim tasted it, he was like, ooh, that shit's smooth. He said, I got X amount of cases of that. You have as much as you want. And at that point, Dr. Slim was all in. Now, we want you to know that is not a deal that Smoke would have made. He wouldn't have made that deal with Dr. Slim. And you can tell that later on in the movie when Smoke and Stack and Annie come together to say, hey, we ain't making no money here. Because half the people are paying with real money, but the other half is paying with some other form of payment. So just because Smoke had an issue with that right there, that lets you know that Smoke was not for to make a deal where Delta Slim can drink all he wants and we cool. It's not gonna happen. You got these twins were playing to each other's strengths when they went to make those deals. It was beautiful. Um, One Me Mosaka. I hope I'm saying her name right. The actor that plays Annie. I love her in everything she's played in so far. Everything I've seen her in, I have loved her. When she played Helen of Troy, I loved her. And her work in the MCU in Lovecraft Country, I love this woman in everything. Okay, this woman, I will have her babies. I think she's beautiful. I think she's talented. I think she's attractive. And if I was to run into her in somewhere in public and she wanted me, I'd go. I'd go. I promise. I would go. I love her character Annie in the show in the movie centers because she's Smoke's love interest, and you can tell that she really loves him. And that kind of love she has for him is very hard to come by. And then her and Smoke have this trauma that they share with the I say unborn that they share that passed away, and they have this connection that hasn't went anywhere. He's been away from her for years, and throughout that entire time, he still loved her. She still loved him, and she's continued to try to protect him from a spiritual standpoint in his absence. With the little bag around his neck, and she continued to pray for him all along. And then they have this intimate moment at her shop, which, baby, let me tell you, when she put her hand around his throat, and she went and she bit his ear, licked his ear, whatever she did, baby, call me linen, call me a t-shirt, cause I'd fold it, especially when she said, "Your body ain't forget about me." Sure didn't, sure didn't. I'm just saying, I'm just saying, love it. Haley Stanfield plays Mary. And Haley Stanfield, she's in the MCU as well. It's interesting how many people in this movie that are involved in the MCU. Michael B. Jordan, One Me, Haley, they've all been a part of the MCU. And Haley Stanfield, she plays She was the Archer. She played in the Hawkeye show with the MCU. But I love her. She plays the mixed race Mary, and she is the love interest of Stack. Now, I have come under fire on social media, on TikTok, because I don't think Stack was in love with Mary. I think Mary wanted him. I think Mary really loved him, and she's probably in love with Stack, but I don't think Stack's in love with her. That's just my opinion. And as I watch this movie, we have Mary's character who is mixed race, and she's passing as white everywhere she goes. And I grew up in the 90s, and I remember hearing the phrase, a black man's kryptonite. And as you go through the movie, that a white woman is the black man's kryptonite. And as you watch the movie, you see how once she's bitten and turned into a vampire, she comes back in and she ends up being Stack's downfall, kryptonite, so to speak. That's cool. Anyway, then you have Yaley Yao and Lee Jun Lee as Grace and Bo, the Asian business owners. And I believe their character's inclusion in this movie was brilliant. It was brilliant because their two roles were not really necessary. You didn't have to have Asian actors in this movie. It wasn't necessary. But it's historically accurate. Asian businesses being involved in America goes as far back as the Reconstruction era after the Civil War. Asian businesses, they provided a place where black people could go and buy the goods they needed because black people were not allowed in white stores. And so Asians businesses have always placed themselves in black communities. And a lot of that was also because Asian businesses couldn't get into white communities. So they ended up in black spaces. And it worked for them. And in this movie, you have Grace and Bo, who both they own two businesses. They own two stores. One store on one side of the street is where the black people shop, and then the store on the other side of the street, Grace runs that store, is where the white people shop, and it works for them. So their inclusion in the story was not totally necessary, but it's brilliant that they're there and gives us that piece of actual real history of this country. We also have Miles Caton. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but he plays the role of Sammy, aka Preacher Boy, and this is his first film, and it's a breakout role for him because he was great at it. And I think he was so good at it. Part of the reason he was so good at it is because he comes from a musical background. So they have him playing a character that is deep in music. So it's almost like he's playing a character he knows to an extent. And he killed it. He kills his role. And Sammy, Preacher Boy, he's special. His music is not just music. He has that music that's able to be transcendent and connect with the past and the future. And I'm gonna get into that little bit more in a few minutes. Okay. And now we have the legendary, the man himself, Delroy Lindo as Delta Slam. Delroy is the elder statesman in this movie. He is the most seasoned actor on the cast. And I just want to say something about Delroy. This man does not get enough credit. We don't give this man enough flowers, okay? In my personal opinion. When we talk about the great black actors, especially the men, we talk about Denzel. We talk about Morgan Freeman. We talk about Sidney Poitier. But Delroy Lindo, this man got staying power. That man been out here on the battlefield for a long time and putting out good stuff. Tell me we didn't like him as the daddy in Crooklyn. We didn't like him as the lawman in Harder They Fall. Who didn't like him as Joe Black in This Christmas? So in This Christmas, Joe Black was getting shit done that we couldn't understand. I'm still trying to figure out who Joe Black called in This Christmas that got Columbus Short's character out of jail and was able to not only get him to church, but get him to Christmas dinner before he had to go back and deal with the fact that he was AWOL from the military. What the hell was Joe Black really out here doing? Is my question. But Delta Slim, the character, he's a man with a tragic past. And we get that scene where they're on the in the car, he's riding with Stack and Sammy, and he tells this story. And this is a man who has been through the ringer as far as the Jim Crow era goes. He's seen the worst of it. And money is not a motivator for him. He's a talented musician and he wants to be paid, but he prefer alcohol. He want the money, but he need that alcohol. And I think the alcohol numbs the pain. I think the alcohol keeps away the demons. It keeps away the memories of all of the crazy shit that he's seen and been going through as a product of the Jim Crow era. Then the bad guy. Jack O'Connell plays Remick the vampire. Now, Jack O'Connell is of Irish descent. So him playing a Irish vampire is half the work done. Okay, he already has an Irish background, so playing a Irish vampire, an Irish character, the work is done. It's just like Miles playing a musician. He is a musician in reality. So half the work is done, and it's just the same thing for Jack O'Connell as Remick. Half the work is done. He's Irish, and he's not the typical bad leader vampire. He gives us everything that uh evil vampire should give us. He's manipulative, he's evil, he plays mind games, he does all of that. But he seems to be a vampire that wants a community. He's a vampire that he wants to reconnect with his ancestors and his past, and not his vampire past, but his human past. And he sees Sammy Preacher Boy's music as a way of doing that because, as I stated, Sammy's music is transcendent. It has a way of connecting, and Remick plays that role. He plays the role of this head vampire so good, and like I said, his Irish descent plays into the character. Especially where my favorite scene in the movie is the Irish song and the dance, which I'm gonna talk about that in a little bit. Um, but Remick, Jack O'Connell, great stuff. All these actors great. And like I said earlier, I love the fact that several of these actors are connected to the MCU along with Ryan Coogler as well. It's great. Now, as we go through the movie, there are a few things that stick out to me. I know there has to be some people out there that haven't seen this movie, so I don't want to give you a whole bunch of spoilers. But my question is, why ain't you seen it though? If you need a little piece of change, meet me to cash app you so you can go see this, go see it. Because I got you. I got your back. But let's talk about a few things. Are we ready to forgive Star Lord? Are we ready? Let's put it out there. Star Lord was directly responsible for the deaths of billions in Infinity War across the universe. It was his fault because he couldn't keep his emotions intact that billions died. Now, here we have Grace in Sinners, the Asian lady. She's directly responsible for the vampires getting in because she invites them in. When they start talking about getting her daughter, she loses it. Come on in. She lost it. She did the same thing Star Lord did. But are we ready to forgive Star Lord? No, we're not. We're not. Simply because of the scale. When Grace did it, that 3 or 4 people died. When Star Lord did it, half the fucking universe died. I'm sorry, Star Lord. You're still on the hook, buddy. Deal with that. Um, the Irish dance in this movie was wild. Now, and when you're watching the movie, when it starts, you hear them singing. From inside the bar, they can hear them singing, and it gives creepy. It is creepy fest when I hear them singing. But then when they go out there and you can see them, not only is it creeping and disturbing as planned, but it shows a little bit of a different side of Remick as well. Because they're just having it looks like they're having a good time. They're singing The Road to Dublin. And there's nothing, and I don't really know that song from start to finish, but to my knowledge, there's nothing inherently evil about that song. But when you have vampires with glowing eyes outside singing it, it gets evil. It gets creepy. Let's deal with that. Okay? But I feel like Remick singing that song with Remick leading them, I think it ties back into whatever's left of Remick's human personality. Whatever's left of his humanity. Because he was a musician. Before he was turned into a vampire, he was a musician. And I think him doing that song was an attempt to appeal to Preacher Boy, musician and musician. Okay? Also, the song was kind of lit. All right, let's just put it out there. The song was kind of lit because I was in my seat, kind of just jigging a little bit, like, wait a minute, this song kind of hot. All right, I'm 3 for 5. I was in. I was going in. I was having a good time. If I went to this by myself, I was having a good time. Then let's talk about Sammy's music. No, before we get into Sammy's music, let's go to the very end. The Klan ambush. When the Klan shows up to ambush anybody, black people that are in the bar, let me tell you, I abhor. I literally hate racist people. I don't care whether you're black, white, blue, green, or orange. I hate racist people. And watching these racist characters show up in an attempt to massacre black people and then to have the tables turn on them and each one of them died, I didn't have a single problem with it because you want to keep that energy. Keep that energy. Because you came up and guess what? And you got killed. That was beautiful. And my favorite part of the ambush is when um, Smoke is running up beside the truck with the grenade and just casually tosses the grenade in the truck because they were trying to get away. And blew them all to hell. It was beautiful. It was an awesome thing. Then Sammy's music. Let me tell y'all something. I am a person who loves music. I have my degree in music. Music is a universal language that we all understand. Okay? It's truly universal. Music can be transcendent. As the movie told us in the beginning, it can connect with the past and the future. And that's what Sammy's music does. And I feel like that's what music does, period. Like if you're in the car with me, there's no telling what you're gonna hear. I'm eclectic. I got R&B, I got rap, I got pop, I got golden oldies, I got 70s, 80s, 90s. I got some classical music. I have a playlist that's dedicated to just Disney music. Mostly for my grandson, but I jam off of it too. I hit the Cheetah Girls every now and then. I enjoy myself. But Sammy's music was so transcendent that it connected to the past and the future. And it was awesome to me. That scene when he was somebody, that scene when he was singing and he was playing, and while he's doing it, you got like you see spirits from the past, the musicians enter into the juke joint in the juke joint, and then you got a guy playing an electric guitar, who kind of reminded me of Jimi Hendrix, and it was just connecting with the past and the future, and then you get these other cultures also represented from Africa and Native America and Asian cultures. It was just great. That part of the movie was without a doubt top two favorite parts of the movie for me. The Irish dance scene and the soundtrack itself. The whole soundtrack for this movie is a banger. I've added it to my Apple Music. It's just that good. Um, Sinners was a cinematic and is a cinematic experience. And I'm gonna say something. I truly enjoy going to the movies. It's one of those things I truly enjoy. I love the cinematic experience. And to me, the cinematic experience is two-sided. On one side is this part of me that loves. I can watch a movie at home, and there are benefits to watching the movie at home. I can pause it if I need to. I can get up and go to the bathroom. I can get up and go get snacks. I can watch the movie in my drawers or nothing at all if I want to. But there's nothing like going to the theater because I have a whole ritual when I go to the movie theater. When I get there, I get to the movie at least 15 to 20 minutes before the movie starts. Okay, before 15 to 20 minutes early, I'm going to the bathroom to pee or have a constitutional, whichever one I need. And I come out, wash my hands. I go to the counter. I'm gonna get me a medium drink, probably grape soda, depending on what movie theater I'm in. If it's a Cinemark, root beer. AMC, great. AMC got that Coke machine, the freestyle. Love that. Um, and I'm gonna get popcorn. Get a large popcorn. Let me fill it halfway, and then hand it to me. Let me go over here and put the butter on it because I don't like the way they do it. They'll put the butter on the halfway thing for you, but they don't do it right. Cause see, they'll go over there, press that button, and just move it around. I need you to move it around, and you just shake that thing too. Shake it up. That way, the butter getting all the way down through all the kernels. See what I'm saying? Then I'm gonna take it back up there to you. Give me the rest of the popcorn on top. Let me hit a little more butter on there real good. Let me butter it down all over the top. And some probably saying, it's a lot of butter, Lord Cicero. I'm here for a good time, not a long time, okay? Understand me? Then I'm gonna go in the theater. And once I'm in the theater, once I'm sitting down, I have my drink to my left, I got my popcorn to my right. I'm probably sitting about halfway up in the theater if possible, because I don't want to go too high because that's gonna turn on my anxiety because I got a fear of heights. And then I don't want to sit too low because then I gotta do this shit the whole movie. So bring me in the middle. I don't want to have to look from the left. I don't want to have to look from the right. I can look straight ahead and I'm good. I love going to the movies by myself because I don't want to share my popcorn. So if I go with other people, you understand you need your own popcorn. I will buy your popcorn just to keep your hands out of my popcorn. Okay? Because I don't really mess with my popcorn until the movie starts. Throughout the the previews, I may eat a few kernels here and there, whatever. Cool. But once the movie starts, that's when I really indulge in my popcorn. And I don't like the way other people eat their popcorn. Because, see, when I eat my popcorn, I eat them like with three fingers. A thumb and two fingers, or just a thumb and an index. That's how I eat my popcorn. But I see people, they take their whole hand in there and they popping popcorn like sunflower seeds. You put your whole hand in my popcorn bucket, and I will end this movie for everybody. Because I will knock your ass out. Don't you dare. So that's why I don't share my popcorn at the movies. I love the whole experience. And once the movie starts, I ain't moving. Okay? I ain't hardly gonna drink that much because I don't want to get up and have to pee. I'm not leaving this theater. Once that movie starts, I'm here. My phone is on silent. I may check it to make sure ain't no emergencies popping. But anytime you decide to send me a reel, a TikTok, or tag me in something, or text me, trust me, if it's not an emergency, I'm not responding until I walk out the theater. Deal with that. Just deal with that. That's the cinematic experience for me. Now, the other side of the cinematic experience is I can't stand people that want to shit on other people's opinions. Yes, the directors and the producers and the writers and the actors, they all tell us, well, this is what's happening in the movie, and this, and this. And then, but when there are others like myself and other people on social media that have their own thoughts and opinions about what they see, somebody in the comments, well, do you know more than the director? Did you write the movie? I don't give a damn if I wrote it, didn't write it, whatever. That's irrelevant. The fact of the matter is, I saw something and I saw how it connected with me from a historical standpoint sometimes, or some other standpoint, and I vibe with it. Sue me, and I'm gonna talk about it. And if you don't like that, when you see my video, do this right here. Take your finger, put it on the bottom of the screen, and scroll, bitch, or roll away. The cinematic experience. I love going to the movies, and I think if you haven't seen Sinners, what the hell are you waiting on? Today, in things worldly but not nerdy. Since the last time I came to y'all, we've had a presidential election, and once again, Donald J. Trump is president of the United States. And since his inauguration, the state of the nation is kind of in flux a little bit, you know? Uh, People are worried, people are scared, some people are highly confident because they believe in him. And there are those of us who say, I don't know, I'm on the fence. And there are the others that say, gloom and doom, he's going to destroy everything. Me, I'm kind of in the middle, honestly. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I didn't vote for him. I voted for Kamala Harris. And I felt like I voted for the right person, honestly. I know a lot of times we as people, we get a little disillusioned with having to vote for the lesser of two evils. But that's where we are as a country. We've been there for decades, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. Um, Now, do I agree with a lot of the things Donald Trump is doing right now? Currently, I don't. Do I believe Kamala Harris would have done those things differently? Of course I do. Do I think we'd be in a state where our trade partners around the world are becoming enemies with her? No, I don't think that would have happened. But here we are. But one of the questions I do have is why do we keep electing the elderly? Hmm? Joe Biden, Donald Trump, both men over the age of 75, and we elect them president. Why do we do this? Don't old people frustrate the hell out of us? We be mad at old people when they drive terrible. We get mad because they don't understand technology. Well, we're at the grocery store and they're still writing checks and we're in line behind them. We can't stand it. But when it comes time to vote for the president of the free world, the president of the United States of America, we will punch the ticket for a man who probably is not cognitively all there. Let's just keep it a buck. All right? Joe Biden was not cognitively all there. It was not. And it was evident, it was painfully evident by the end of his presidency that this man is not all there. And I'm going to say it Donald Trump's not all there either. He just has a different form of dementia. You can listen to the way he talks. As somebody who's dealt with dementia patients, my father had dementia before he passed. I know dementia when I hear it. And Donald Trump has some form of dementia. His doctors can come out and say, oh, he's in perfect health and this, and everything is great. All they want to. I don't believe you. Because there's no way on God's green earth that you can convince me that somebody near 80 years old has all of their mental faculties in place. It's not possible. It doesn't happen. That's just the general wear and tear of the human body. Come on, man, quit playing with me. Now, at the same token, when we talk about the age of a president, and this is going to be a little hypocritical, if Al Gore was to run for president right now, he'd get my vote. Now, Al Gore is 77 years old. But if you've seen him recently on an episode of the Bill Maher show, he don't look 77. Al Gore looks good. Al Gore looked like he took his L, went home, and he been chilling, eating right, exercise, drinking his water, eating his fruits, getting some of that tipper every now and then. And he sounded like he know what he's talking about when he was talking. Like if you put Al Gore up there on the ticket right now, even though I'm tired of voting for elderly men, I'd vote for Al Gore. I promise I would. Now, then you have Donald Trump's cabinet. And this has to be the most unqualified cabinet in all of history, I think. I'm sure there's somebody worse, but this is the one I can remember in recent memory. You have people in positions that are not qualified for those positions. And this speaks very loudly to the fact that party affiliation takes precedence over doing what's best for the country. Because there's an R or D by your name, I will stand beside you. Okay? Because how does the Senate, in good conscience, confirm a person as the Secretary of Education who has never worked in education? She's never principal, vice principal, teacher, paraprofessional. She's never been a fucking substitute teacher. But she's the Secretary of Education. Her resume is I ran the WWE, the World Wrestling Federation, or Entertainment, what the fuck they're using now. Nowhere is there any education background, but she's the Secretary of Education. Then you have the Secretary of Defense. Now, Higson. Now, this guy has military background, but his last job was being a talking head at Fox News. And since he's got the job, he's leaked sensitive information through a signal chat once to a reporter and again a second time to his wife, brother, and his personal lawyer. And that's the guy that the Senate chose. Not to mention he has a drinking problem. But they chose him. He was nominated over more qualified four-star generals. Make that make sense. Like I said, I'm not a Democrat or Republican, but when I see things that I don't think are right, I'm going to say it. I'm going to speak on it, whether it aligns with my political affiliation or not. Now, we got all these tariffs. Donald Trump came out, he's put a tariff on everybody. It's a tariff here, tariff there. You get a tariff, you get a tariff. Everybody gets a fucking tariff. And the thought process is that he's going to put these tariffs on these countries, and these countries are going to bend the knee and they're going to make good deals with us. And that's what they continue to spew to people. But the reality of these tariffs is that the tariffs are paid for by importers, and importers get their money back from us, the people. So they're going to jack up the prices on their goods because they had to pay the tariff import fees. They gonna get their money back, regardless. But I think it's very interesting. Very, very interesting that all he put tariffs on all these countries except for Russia. Hmm. Do with that information what you want. Now, we got a little voters' remorse going on in this country. There are people out here who voted for Donald Trump and now they're starting to have second thoughts like, wait a minute, let's put it out there. Voters' remorse is real. It happens at every election. Every person, well, I'm gonna say every person, but every time there is an election, you vote for the person you want, and then that candidate wins, and they do something you don't agree with, and then voters' remorse starts to set in. And it takes a little bit. It takes a little time for the voters' remorse to set in. It doesn't happen the first time they do something that you don't like. It really starts to happen when they do things that negatively affect you. Okay. See, a lot of people wanted Donald Trump because he said all the good things. That's one thing I will give Republicans. They're really good at messaging. They found about two or three good topics in the last election and they hammered them into the ground. Immigration, deport the illegals, bringing prices of groceries down. And that was really it. That's all the main two things they talked about. And it worked. It really worked for them. But now here we are. Trump is in office and he's doing things. And now these people that they're experiencing the crunch now. The entire is on the verge of bankruptcy. Farmers all over this country benefited from a bill signed by Joe Biden. Now Donald Trump rescinded that bill and they're not getting those funds anymore. And so now they're like, oh, I'm going to lose the farm. Oh, so you voted for the candidate that took away your money, your funding. Oh, damn. I'm sorry. I don't feel sorry for you in that situation because that's what you voted for. I'm not a Donald Trump fan, but I can give him this. That man ran his campaign and said exactly what he was going to do. He said exactly what he was going to do, and he's doing it. And y'all heard him say what he said he was going to do, and y'all said, yep, that's what I want. And now that it's happening, you got remorse. Sucks to be you. Now, and then you have these Palestinians. One thing that irks me is one issue voters. You have one issue and you harp on it, and and that one issue is going to be your deciding vote. And that was a lot of Palestinian Americans. They decided they were going to vote based on how things are going in Gaza. and they didn't like the way Joe Biden was running it, and they didn't like what Kamala was saying about it. So they said, "Don't vote for Kamala. Vote for Donald Trump, or don't vote at all." That's what their message was. Don't vote for Kamala Harris. Don't vote for her. Don't vote for her. And now that they didn't, and either they didn't vote at all, or they voted for Donald Trump, and when Donald Trump wins the election, he's like, "Hey, those people in Gaza, they need to get out of there because Netanyahu, Israel, we gonna give them what they need to finish the job." What? Y'all stood up here all over social media, standing against genocide, okay? But then when Donald Trump says, "Hey, we're gonna give Israel what they need to finish the job," those people that are innocent, they need to leave Gaza. They need to just leave their country. Now, those same people, those same Palestinian Americans who were against Kamala, they want everybody else in America to coalesce around them. And well, the election's over. We need to come together as a people. We need to stand together and fight the good fight. Our opportunity to stand together was November 5th. That was our chance to stand together, and you chose to go the way you chose. So, fuck you. And now they're mad. They're mad because especially black people have said, "We're hands out, hands up. We don't want no parts. Y'all have at it. Do what you do. We don't care." Oh, you can't be mad because we didn't vote for Kamala. Who said we was mad? Who said we were upset that you didn't vote for Kamala? What we said was we've washed our hands of it. Because you were a one issue voter. You voted for the one issue, or didn't vote for the one issue that you cared about. You didn't care to look at all the issues that affect us as black people and white people and Hispanics and everybody else. You didn't care about those issues. You didn't care about the myriad of issues that affected us. All you cared about was your one issue in Gaza. So guess what? We're done. You got to deal with that. And then you have the Latino community also feeling a little voter's remorse. Because let's be honest, Latino men voted for Trump in droves, almost 60%. But now, here we are, Abuela and the Abuelos are getting deported. And it's shocking. Oh, I not me, not us. You weren't supposed to deport us. You were supposed to deport them Latinos, them brown people over there. No, 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 no. I believe one of Donald Trump's appointees, they said, they asked him about deporting families. And are we going to try to keep families together? And his response was, well, we can just deport the whole family and they'll be together. And when he said that, I was like, okay, type shit. That's how they feel. They'll deport the whole family. That way, y'all still get to be together. You don't get to be together over here. And again, those the MAGA crowd that own farms and own hotels and things like that, they're noticing that, oh crap, some of those people that were undocumented, that was our labor force. Now, who's going to clean our hotels? Who's going to work on the roads, and who's going to pick the fruit and the vegetables and all these things? Who's going to do those things? So guess what? The average American, I don't care if he's black, white, Asian, they don't want to. That's not the job they're going to do. The average American is not going to go out and work in the hot sun in 100-degree weather picking fruit at $11 to $12 an hour. It's just not going to happen. So now, those of you MAGA who went out and voted for Donald because he was going to do the things you wanted, and now it's directly affecting you, you have to figure out a way. You're going to either have to go to raise the price of your wages that you're willing to pay, or you have to pick that fruit your damn self. Sorry, not sorry. Now, it's 2025, and the war between men and women continues to rage on. Will it ever end? Will it ever come to a place where we can agree to disagree? Or will it get to a place where it's harmonious between men and women? No, it won't. The war between men and women will continue to roll on. It will continue to roll on for a number of reasons. One, because of social media. Social media has a way of pulling out the worst in us when it comes to men and women. Number two, they still have not passed a law that makes it a requirement that you have to pass some sort of mental, cognitive, or literacy exam before you can buy podcast equipment. Because they can buy podcast equipment and say the most random bullshit, and people will run to it in droves. People will subscribe to these podcasts. I'm trying to get my podcast off the ground and get subscribers, and I don't have that many. But this fool over here can say the most outlandish shit about men, and she can say the most outlandish shit about women, or vice versa, and boom, they got here with huge podcasts making tons of money. And I'm out here struggling. Ain't that a bitch? There's a lot of loud talking and no listening when it comes to men and women. Here's the facts. Fellas, good women aren't easy. They're not. They're complicated. If you find yourself in a relationship with a woman that she's just ho hum about everything, she never questions anything you say, she never questions anything you do, she doesn't try to give you advice, she doesn't really give it, she doesn't do anything. She doesn't care because she doesn't like you that much. That's not a good woman for you. A good woman is going to challenge you. A good woman is going to see your flaws and then press you to be a better person. And is that complicated? Yes, it's complicated and it's hard. Good women are complicated. They're going to do things that's going to upset you. They're going to make decisions that, guess what, you don't like. They're going to say things you don't like. They're going to make moves and not tell you about it because at some point in life they were doing it all by themselves. And it takes them a minute to understand that, baby, you ain't got to do this by yourself no more. I'm here. And so you got to develop that trust with them. And they're going to do things. And they're going to ask you stupid ass questions like, baby, if I was a tapeworm, would you love me? Yes, baby, I would love you if you was a tapeworm. And I put an apple on the table right beside you as a tapeworm for you to burrow through on a daily basis. You just got to deal with that. All right. And on the flip side of that, ladies, good men, we're not complicated. Good men are not complicated at all. Social media has people thinking that good men are complicated. Good men are not hard to understand. You'll see posts on social media that are basically meant to induce rage and strife. I saw a post on Facebook that says, no man wants to come home to hamburger helper. Motherfucker, have you ever had the four cheese lasagna? Hmm? Have you ever had the deluxe beef stroganoff? Them are my two favorites. I got deluxe beef stroganoff in my refrigerator right now. You get that with a little garlic toast or little garlic cheese toast, go to town. And if you want to be real fancy with it, don't use ground beef. Use ground sausage. I like to get that Johnsonville mild sausage, and then I'll throw one of them little small breakfast roll sausages together. 2 pounds of meat in the pan with 2 boxes of hamburger helper, and baby, I'm eating good for a week. I'm good to go. It's the fact that I came home and somebody was there, she was there, and she cooked for me. I am excited about that. Good men appreciate the fact that she cooked the meal for me and she didn't have to. And another thing I see on social media, we don't give a damn if she put it on a paper plate or a real plate. Because guess what? I don't like washing dishes either. I hate it. Okay? So put it on a paper plate. Give me a plastic fork and put my drink in a styrofoam cup. That way I can throw all this shit away. Okay? Men are not that complicated. If a man is a good man and he genuinely likes you, genuinely cares about you, he's going to do all the things. He's going to communicate with you. He's going to look after you. He's going to make sure you're good when he genuinely likes you. And it won't be this thing where you have to figure out if he's into you. You won't have to figure it out. front page news every day in your face. Okay, this dating thing is not that hard. Relationships are not that hard. Well, let me rephrase. They are hard. It takes a lot of work. But a lot of times, we out here as people, we're making it so much more difficult than it truly has to be. You feel me? That's my time for this week, y'all. I am Lord Cicero, the great Lord Paramount of the Southeast Kingdom. This has been the Southeast Kingdom podcast, and I'll see y'all next time.